Hello and welcome to JewishTV.media. This is the 10th in our series on happiness, and today I want to talk about spiritual joy. You know, Sigmund Freud, the very famous 20th century psychiatrist, said that religion is a obsessional neurosis. Essentially, he believed that he blamed religion for many of the problems of mankind, as do, I suppose, many others today as well. The reality, however, is somewhat different. Various polls, specifically the Gallup polls, have indicated that religious people are the happiest of all. And amongst religious people, ultra-Orthodox Jews are the happiest of the happiest. And these are findings based on proper scientific polling. Nevertheless, we'd like to understand how it is that religion, and specifically Judaism, enhances our happiness. Well, we are little limited human beings. God is infinite. And the question is, how does the infinite God connect to a limited human being? Or vice versa, how does a limited human being connect to an infinite God? And the answer which Judaism gives to this is mitzvot. Mitzvot literally means the commandments. Many translate mitzvot or mitzvah as a good deed. But if you look deeply and you take a look at what the Zohar, that famous book on Jewish mysticism, has to say, you'll see that the word mitzvah has meaning beyond the commandment and beyond the good deed. What a mitzvah means is a connection. It connects the infinite with the finite and gives the finite meaning. Just to give an example of this, an example based on Hasidic teachings. Imagine that you were walking in the grounds of Princeton University. You're a gardener there. Quite a simple fellow. And then you see Einstein walking. And of course you're in awe of him. He's the famous physicist of the 20th century. Relativity, E equals mc squared. New understanding of gravity, and you think to yourself, I'm a nothing compared to the great Albert Einstein walking right over there. And then Albert Einstein says, hello, good morning. Immediately a relationship is forged between you and Einstein. Then Einstein says, look, could you do me a favor? I'm working on this really major experiment now. I'm trying to find the unified field which will explain all of existence. But in order to do that, I need some dirt from under that tree there. Can you give me a little bit of that dirt? And you run. Einstein's asking you. You run, grab that earth, and you give it to Albert Einstein. Can you imagine what happens at that moment? Two things. First of all, there is now a connection. There is now a relationship between you and Einstein. Number two, you're no longer a mere gardener in the beautiful Princeton University. You're part of Einstein's major experiment in discovering a new field theory for the universe. You've got infinite importance. The same thing happens when we do a mitzvah. Before we do a mitzvah, we're limited beings. But when God tells us and asks us, please do a mitzvah, and we do it, there's a relationship formed between ourselves and God. Number one. Number two, we become part of God's plan in creating the universe, because every mitzvah adds a little bit of relationship, a revelation of God in this world. You know, before you do a mitzvah, you have to appreciate the mitzvah. And how do you appreciate the mitzvah? By saying a bracha. The bracha begins with the words, or concludes with the words, V'tzivanu, and He commanded us. Commanded us means, as I said, He attaches Himself. He connects Himself to us. Before you do a mitzvah next time, don't just eat the matzah, don't just shake the lulav, but focus on that word V'tzivanu and understand. It doesn't only mean that He commands us, it means He connects with us. There are other words in the blessing too. It says Kiddishanu. Kiddishanu means He sanctified us. But Kiddishanu can also mean something else. You know, when a man and woman get married under the chuppah, the man says to the woman, Hari at mekudeshet, behold, you are betrothed to me. Kiddishanu means God says, I'm betrothing myself to you. You know what betrothing means? Just like a husband and wife, when the husband is betrothed to the wife becomes betrothed to the husband, they cease from being individuals and the two of them form one unit. Similarly also, when we do a mitzvah, we cease to be ourselves and we become unified with God in the deepest marriage of all. What greater joy can there be for a human being than this connection with God? But you know, it's not only when you do the mitzvot. Anything you do can be part of the service of God. It's a beautiful day over here in Sydney. The harbour is spectacular. By standing over here and sharing these thoughts with you, I'm not only connecting myself with God, I'm connecting the whole harbour with God too. I'm making this background part of a shir. When I go to sleep at night, what connection is there to God in that? Well, the next morning I get up and I'm invigorated. And I'm able to say Modeh Ani, to thank God. I'm able to say a blessing. I'm able to go and help another person. So the sleeping itself is part of my mission. And as such, the sleeping itself becomes connected to God. And as the Rambam says, Maimonides says, B'chol derechecha de'eyu, then all of your ways you can know God. Know God in this sense means in all of your ways you can become connected to God. So just remember, there are infinite possibilities every single day of our lives for a connection with God. And when we connect with God, we go out of the finitude of our own beings and connect to something which is truly infinite, the greatest joy of all. Wishing you all the best. Happiness always. This is JewishTV.media.
JewishTV.media